Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Joined by my great friend, Jeff Iafrate, as always. Fish, good morning, buddy. How are you? I'll take that for you're doing okay, fine.
Doing great. USA's playing today.
That is
I'm
correct.
very excited. So,
2
by
o'clock.
the way, it's called soccer, I guess. Did you know that?
No, what do you
They
mean?
were chanting it's called soccer.
In the stadium.
Yes.
Yes, they actually were. It's called soccer. It's called soccer.
Most American
Well, it's
thing
not,
ever.
but okay. That's,
Well, tell that to the American people.
that's great. That's awesome. I love that. Oh, man, we got a jam-packed show today. I'm excited. 8:15, Michigan. I think the talk really for the next few days, probably till we get Thursday or Friday, it's got to be Michigan. What's next? What is the next benchmark? What is the next goal? What's their next objective? Cade McNamara entering the transfer portal. How the Lions need to address the offseason when it comes to the running back position. It's a pretty deep running back class in free agency.
Yeah.
Or do you opt to use a second, third round pick on a running back? That's the conversation we'll have at 8:45, top of the hour. We'll kind of bring this wagon full circle with Jim Harbaugh and Michigan. Why it took as long as it did, how they got here, how they're suddenly 2-0 against Ryan Day in their last 2 games. And then we'll go around the NFL. What's at stake for the Lions on Sunday? The Rams, of course, are giving you a top 3 pick. And it's getting closer and closer to being pretty simple to me, Jeff. They're going to shut down Aaron Donald, Matthew Stafford. Robinson's done. Ramsey next, maybe? Even as a healthy sit? This is...
Cut their starting running back.
They're going to go into quite the rebuild. They will go into a rebuild similar to what you see with the Saints, with Sean Payton leaving, and then that cap situation not being all the greatest. So there's a lot to work towards, but it's going to be a fun show. But let's start with last night, what we watched. Pittsburgh versus the Indianapolis Colts. Najee Harris
What a
goes
great
down
game.
Did you watch? I am surprised.
I did.
Don't
I
talk
watched
if you're going
most
to
of the
unmute
second
your
half.
mic, you jackass.
Huh?
Keep your mic unmuted if you're going to talk.
I did, you ding dong.
Then why are you going back and forth?
What do you mean?
Fish, shut the hell up and mute your mic. You're not allowed to talk for the rest of the segment.
What did I do wrong? I
your
told
mic.
you I watched the football game. American football.
Mute your mic.
Okay.
Oh, God. What's up, everybody? 8:03, a beautiful Tuesday morning. Let's get it started. Monday Night Football, Jeff. Pittsburgh, yet again, just under Mike Tomlin, even though it's a pretty bad season for them. They're just kind of there. They play hard. Kenny Pickett, to me, doesn't look like a franchise quarterback just yet.
Yeah.
He's got time. I don't think he's showing signs of, he might be a bust, or he needs time. And I
Right.
think Pittsburgh are going to give him that time. George Pickens looks like the real deal. Najee Harris went down with an abdomen injury. That's interesting. We'll monitor that. But that game didn't really have much implications. Outside of the Colts really just understanding, you know what, Jeff Saturday, he's
learning on the job. Let's be honest.
He's doing his best. And what I mean by that is all the crap I give Dan Campbell, Jeff Saturday just did on Monday Night Football. He did. And, I'm glad that is not the team I have to talk about, because I would be irate with some of the things that happened last night. So, look, this whole learning on the job stuff, I don't believe in it. Again, when you are the owner of a football team, you are allowed to hire whoever you want, qualified or unqualified, Jeff. It is an interim head coach position, but this is why people were outraged in the beginning. And he got away with it, played Josh McDaniels and the Las Vegas Raiders at the time. They got that win, and they've lost the last 2. And yesterday you kind of saw him really, I don't want to say fall apart on the sideline. I think that's a bit too harsh, but boy, he made some really bad mistakes. Clock management was pathetic. It's like he'd never been in a 2-minute warning in his life. Maybe he never heard of it. I'm not sure. Matt Ryan was a turnover machine. They couldn't throw the football. It was an ugly game, Jeff. It was just ugly.
It was odd. I mean, even the last minute of the game, Matt Ryan gets that first down. He scrambles for it. And then Jeff Saturday, you're waiting for the timeout. They have all 3 timeouts. You're like, okay, all right. You're going to call the timeout. And eventually he did. But still, I guess that's what it entails when you hire a guy who's never been a head coach in his life. It's not Dan Campbell, who was an interim head coach, coached the Detroit Lions, was working under Sean Payton for a number of those years. Jeff Saturday's never been a head coach. He's never worked in the NFL, a part of a staff. The only experience he has is coaching at the high school level. So there's a lot of things for him to overcome. I'm sure Irsay already kind of expected that. But last night wasn't the most entertaining game, I'll say that. And Matt Ryan was under pressure a ton. I mean, that offensive line for the Colts, they couldn't protect. And obviously he struggled with that. So it is what it is. Kenny Pickett, I'm kind of with you there. I was watching Kenny Pickett. I think he looked nice at times. The Steelers
he can make throws,
making throws, but in the red zone they couldn't convert in the red zone, and he missed George Pickens wide open. That would have been a touchdown. I know they ended up winning anyway, but the game probably should have been 2 scores, not 1 score. But
yeah,
it is what it is.
I thought Kenny did a good job of just kind of managing the game. Pittsburgh played it safe, but then there's the game of the day today. That's the U.S. versus Iran.
That's the big one.
Fish, unmute your mic. I want you in on this one.
I know, I am.
This is the big game. And the U.S. have no choice, Fish, but to win.
Yeah.
All right, so they got to win to get in. There is no they draw in England. No, they can't. They're at 2 points. They drew versus Wales, and they drew versus England. They need to win. If they draw, no matter what happens in the England game, even if England lose by 57, the U.S. is still on.
Which we could get first place then.
Yeah. They need to win. They would have 5 points. England, I believe, currently have 4. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So England probably going to beat Wales. Likely. Even if they draw, they'll have 5 points. They'll have the U.S. probably on goal differential. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out, Fish. I'm excited. This is an even game. Vegas likes to think it's pretty even. It's basically even money right now on the U.S. and Iran to win the game. And Iran has the advantage. They can win or tie and get in. All Iran has to avoid is losing. That's comforting for them. They know that.
Don't they need Wales to lose? They need Wales to lose. Yeah, right? Don't they need Wales to lose?
No. What do you mean?
Iran.
Why the hell do they need Wales to lose? Wales is out. They have 0 points.
I know, but don't they...
Oh, excuse me. They have 1 point.
They need someone to lose, don't they?
No. Iran are in if they tie.
Okay.
Iran are in if they tie. They have 4 points.
Yeah.
Or excuse me, they have 3 points.
They have 3, yeah.
Yes. Iran have 3 points. They beat Wales
They
head-to-head
did.
2-0.
Somehow. I don't know how.
Wales are not beating England. It is not happening. And even if they did, it doesn't matter. Because if Iran ties, they're in. If they win, they're in. If they lose, the U.S. is in. It's that simple. This group is very laid out. Wales are out.
Yes.
They're done. It's over. There is no outcome that Wales get through.
4-0 Wales.
Doesn't matter. England are in, and it'll be either Iran or the U.S. It's that simple. Fair?
Yes.
I'm nervous as hell for this game. This is a big deal. Like, this is the World Cup, Jeff. This is, you make it to the knockout stage. That's how, they kind of have the phrase, anything can happen, right? Just get to the knockout round. And then you're playing one game against these teams. You never know what can happen.
Right.
You can beat a Spain, maybe. People are going to dream a little bit, but that's the whole point of getting to the knockout stages. If they get there, it'd be the first time since 2014 where they lost to Belgium. Correct, Fish?
Yeah, they lost to Belgium in
16.
that. Yeah, where Tim Howard made 98 saves.
So they haven't been to the
knockout.
knockout stage in 8 years. They missed the 2018 World Cup. This is their first World Cup back. We talk about U.S. soccer moving forward and having a place in the world. Who knows? You got to get to the knockout round, Fish. You can't be knocked out by Iran, no?
No, they need to win today. This is big for U.S. soccer as a whole because they're hosting in 26, so they want to make a good representation on that.
And by the way, I haven't been caught up in all the news, but for the Iranian, media being frustrated at America, and that what page was it, Fish? It was the U.S. soccer page on Twitter that posted that.
They posted the whole group stage, and they left out. Is it the Islamic State emblem or whatever. I think it's the Islamic emblem. They left that out of their graphic, and Iran just went crazy. They said, this is bannable. This is an offense.
And
they
Tyler
should be kicked
Adams,
out.
I don't know a ton about Tyler Adams, but watching him at the podium, man, that dude's a hell of a leader. I mean, his response to that reporter asking him the question obviously was a little condescending, a little frustration. You could hear it through that reporter's voice, but I think he handled it very well. And I know you were talking about it before the show, and I know he's the captain, but my gosh, man. I mean, for a guy who's, how old is he, 24, 25?
Yeah, he's young.
I mean, he handled that
The
excellent,
whole team's
man.
young, though.
He really did.
Is this the second youngest squad?
No, it's the third youngest team in the World Cup.
Third,
and
yeah.
at the end of the day, the U.S. have to win this game.
Yes.
They've invested so much into the sport.
They have.
It is growing in this country.
It is.
It is. You can't deny that. You have to get into the knockout stages of the World Cup. It's that simple. And I don't want to hear Iran has more points, or they're going to play for the draw and they're going to defend.
Well,
they're going to park the bus.
They are.
Shut the hell up.
They should go 5 at the back.
You
6.
are the United States of America. You have so many more resources into your soccer federation than even Wales do. I don't want to hear the excuses. Christian Pulisic, whoever it is,
Adams,
go out there, go score some goals. You have 1 goal through 2 games. If you would have scored a second against Wales, you're probably already into the knockout stages. If you could finish your chances against England, you would have pulled off the upset. This team
They
doesn't
should have won
finish.
that game, by the way.
This team has no technical quality. And if they want to get into the next round, they need to finish fish. It's that simple. Pulisic is amazing. He's not only just their best player, he's the best player they've, I think, ever had on a national team. He needs to get a goal. He needs to make an assist like he did for, I believe, for Timothy Way in the first game. So all the pressure's on the U.S. Iran are going there, making it about politics, and, I'm not going to speak on much of that because that's just irrelevant to the game of soccer, but politics have such little to do with sports, and I hate how much we try to involve them. I think it's a bit unnecessary.
It always finds its way in.
Yeah, look, if you want to bring attention to certain things, I understand. I don't mind that. I really don't. But to put Adams on the spot like that, and God bless him, I think he handled it like a pro.
Yeah.
He really did.
Yeah.
But to act like, there was another reporter that asked Burwalter, the head coach of the national team, hey, why is the USS, I forget which ship it is, coasting on Iran? It's like, dude, how is he supposed to know? I'm a soccer coach. What do you? Yeah. I'm not in charge of the Naval Academy or something. Help me.
Yeah.
It's an unfortunate situation, but.
Hey, did you see, before we go, did you see the sad news that got reported yesterday? You didn't see the sad news? That Messi's not coming to America?
We'll see. That's not confirmed or denied. A lot of Landon Donovan support in the chat. I disagree. Landon Donovan isn't half the player that Christian Pulisic is. And I'm sorry. Did he have some wonderful moments? Mm-hmm. That World Cup goal, was it against Ghana? Oh, yeah. Landon Donovan had some big-time moments. Was it Ghana?
Are you talking about the 2010? The 2010 game was Algeria.
Was it Algeria in the final group stage game?
Yeah.
Thank you, buddy.
I remember watching that.
You're the best. Thank you.
Love that game.
So Donovan is a legend, but Christian Pulisic played at Dortmund. He's now at Chelsea. Mm-hmm. Likely moving to United. This guy is playing at the top of European football and is arguably the best player you have.
Go USA!
So, yeah, we'll see. Should be fun. Let's take a quick break. When we get back, can Michigan become the next powerhouse in college football? That's the question. That's the debate. That's the conversation we are going to have. But before we do, Jeff, our good friends over at Swiss Insurance.
With the holiday season here and Christmas approaching, Swiss Insurance wants to remind you to insure those gifts of jewelry or collectibles. In the last 2 weeks, Swiss has saved its clients on an average of 26% on their insurance premiums while increasing coverage. That's a lot of money to free up for the giving season. Merry Christmas from Swiss Insurance, and don't forget, go blue.
It's back. Year 3 of Woodward Sports Stuff-A Studio is here. The past 2 years, we've collected new unwrapped toys and stuffed our studio so we could hardly fit in it. This year, we're doing it even bigger. Join Woodward Sports and our whole family December 19th to the 23rd as we stuff our studio. While you're out shopping or just sitting on your couch ordering presents, make sure you grab one extra and drop it off at our studio, 15 Mile in Woodward in Birmingham. We'll be collecting toys around the clock to make sure every child in Mott's Children's Hospital feels the warmth of the holiday season. It's the time of year to do for others. Help us stuff our studio. Special thanks to all the wonderful elves at Meyer and Guardian Alarm for keeping the toys safe. Stuff-A Studio 2022 with Woodward Sports.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
All right, downtown Detroit is all decked out this holiday season with the return of the Cadillac Lodge and the Monroe Street Midway. I swear to God. The Midway has a giant slide, winter bumper cars, and an indoor arcade. You can grab drinks at the lodge before and after the games. Shop, eat, and play downtown all winter long with Decked Out Detroit and our good friends over at Bedrock.
I'm going to kill my ball. Here it is.
Oh, too late, Fish. Don't bring it up, you dumbass. What's wrong with you? What are you doing? Fish.
I know where you put
Change
it.
the camera, you
There.
jackass.
I put the label out.
Fish, mute your mic. Shut the fuck up. And focus on your
Now you're
job.
telling Fish to shut the hell up in the producer booth.
Yeah, he gets it in any booth, I guess. At
Any
this point.
booth. Anywhere, anytime, any place.
Yeah, I mean, I'm used to it by now, so I'm not too worried.
All right, question from Mike G. Adham. Will you head downtown to Campus Martius for shop, eat, and play? It's dope. Yeah, I know it's dope. Me and my wife take a trip down there. Multiple, actually.
Good. You should go see the tree.
Every winter.
Have you seen the tree and the kettle?
Of course.
Yeah, I'll be down there too.
That's the thing. That's the
Yeah.
thing you go to in downtown. That's the place.
I'm happy you know what it is. We should give you praise.
See,
for that.
I don't know everything, but I know some things. What I also know is Michigan have taken such a step forward, such a huge step forward over the last 24 months. And Jeff, the question this morning is, can they become the next powerhouse? And when I say the next powerhouse, I refer to you, what I'm referring is, hey, Georgia,
Right.
Ohio State, Bama. I know it's early, but hear me out. I'm going to put them there now because they have already exceeded expectations, and they're probably going to be in the dance. And that's USC. These schools, how are you going to be the next, team to beat? And for Michigan, it's always been about recruiting skill position players, and I do find that answer to be more true than ever. But I do believe they can, because when Jim Harbaugh first signed that contract all those years ago, this was it. Mm-hmm. When Jim Harbaugh came to Ann Arbor originally, it was for moments like what you witnessed on Saturday. It was more about bringing Michigan to a certain level and beating Ohio State and not letting them push you around and beating your rivals and winning Big Ten championships. That's what it was originally about. And then his first 6 years, look, I won't sugarcoat it. It was a disappointment. It was not the best start. It was losing to Urban Meyer year after year after year after year. But it was also 10 wins, 10 wins, 8 wins, 10 wins, 9 wins. And then COVID. And ever since COVID. Not sure what happened. But for me, it started when they fired Don Brown. When he was gone, and they moved towards, I wouldn't say an NFL scheme, but an NFL-style defense for the most part, with Mike McDonald and now Jesse Minter, when he when Jim Harbaugh really rejuvenated himself was with his staff. And now you're seeing it. 12-2 last year, Big Ten champions. 12-0 this year, likely to be Big Ten champions.
Right.
I am so impressed. I'm so impressed. And yes, I do think they can. Because they have the academics. They have the brand power. They have the recruiting ability. And they have one very special thing. Not only is Jim Harbaugh an excellent coach, he's an excellent culture guy, family guy. And, you know, we laugh, who's got it better than us? Nobody, right? That whole thing, and, oh, it's overused, yada, yada, yada. No, that's a real thing. That stuff matters. And you saw them with no decorum, including me, people doubting them, including myself. How are you going to go to the Horseshoe and beat this team without your Heisman hopeful? How? It didn't make sense. It made sense for them. They believed. They believed, Jeff, and they delivered.
Yeah.
And they deserve all the credit in the world for that. So, yeah, I do think they can be the next powerhouse in football. And, you know, when we can legitimately not only have the conversation, but put a stamp on it, if they win 2 weeks from now, or excuse me, if they win a month from now.
Yeah.
If they're able to win a college football playoff game, not the Natty, if they're able to win a college football game and get to a national title game, USC and Ohio State will have competition in the Big Ten with recruiting.
Yeah.
No, everybody will still get theirs. That's how these programs are. But J.J. McCarthy in a national title game, Donovan Edwards, here's the future of the program. Insert 5-star quarterback for 2024, 2025. Go get 4 5-star wide receivers, 3.5 4-star receivers, skill position players. The offensive line will always be a strength of this team. Michigan has some great momentum right now, and I'm curious to see how it plays out.
Yeah, there's no question Michigan as a brand is already technically a powerhouse. But when I look at the term powerhouse, I think of not only, you know, having success like they've had the last 2 years, but sustaining that success. And yes, they did it last year with Cade McNamara, and now with J.J. McCarthy. It's the 5-star quarterback that, you know, we were hoping for eventually with Michigan. They finally got him. And not only that, they're going on another run to get to a college football playoff. And the playing field is much more even this year. So you expect Michigan to, you know, get that monkey off their back and win a playoff game. But the real question is, when you're looking at Georgia, you're looking at Ohio State, you're looking at Alabama, the thing that separates them from Michigan is recruiting. And we saw the impact of beating Ohio State, that what they've done the last 2 years, how it's impacted recruiting. But it's not all about getting these 5-star guys, because Michigan, and one thing I do got to give them credit for, is their player development. They'll get guys that are 3-star, you know, 4-star, and turn these guys into even better players, like a Donovan Edwards, finding someone locally who next year you'd expect to be in that Heisman conversation with his level of play, if he can stay healthy. J.J. McCarthy, a guy that last year played a little bit, but this year kind of turning into that quarterback we all kind of expected or we knew he could be. That's what Michigan needs to do moving forward. How do you get your next JJ? How do you sustain this success? Even for a guy like Dabo Swinney, who you've done this in the past. You've compared both coaches, Jim and Dabo. What helped Dabo turn Clemson into a powerhouse is going from dynamic quarterback, 5-star quarterbacks, to the next quarterback like Deshaun to Trevor Lawrence. That's what you need. You need to sustain this, and how you do that is you keep recruiting. You keep finding these guys. And if they keep up the level of success they've had, the culture they had, or they have currently, that family atmosphere, that, come to Michigan, not only will you develop as a player, but you'll develop as a man. That's the pitch. And Michigan's been doing a good job lately. I don't question what they're going to do moving forward in terms of recruiting, but that's going to be the key. If you want to be a powerhouse, you got to go get athletes. You got to go get good players like a Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State. Now, will they ever be on that level of recruiting? Probably not. But if they can be in that conversation, right now they have currently the 3rd best recruiting class next year in the Big Ten, behind Ohio State and behind Penn State. But the difference is Michigan, in my opinion, can develop players better. So I think they're on the track, Adam. With what they've done the last 2 years, this is what everybody expected of Jim when he first arrived. The success you're seeing over the last 2 years and his adjustments to what he's done with his assistant coaches, from Mike McDonald to Josh Gaddis to now this year Minter, Sharon Moore, and Matt Weiss. That deserves credit as well. So no question. What Jim's been doing and the changes he's made finally finding a 5-star quarterback, making the right decisions on your coaching staff, and really not only having a philosophy football-wise, but embracing that philosophy and not going back to what Jim what he's always done when he's had success, even in the NFL, which is physical teams dominating at the line of scrimmage. And I still think that, although it's not as flashy as Ohio State, that can get the job done. It's done it the last 2 years. So I think they become a powerhouse. It just starts in the recruiting cycle.
I don't make it a habit of coming up here and kind of tooting my own horn on a few things, but my Dabo Swinney comparison has not only turned out to be one of the best comparisons I've ever made in my life, it is dead on. How many wins did Dabo Swinney have in his first 7 years at Clemson, Jeff? 67.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Harbaugh, 71. Year 7. What did Dabo Swinney do? Got to the college football playoff. Year 8, which year Jim Harbaugh's in. Year 8. What did Dabo Swinney do? Got to the college football playoff. Won the Natty. 14-win season. Well, actually, I believe 14 or 15-win season. Could be wrong. Maybe they were undefeated. Jim Harbaugh looking pretty damn good year 8.
Yeah.
Big Ten championship likely again this upcoming weekend. Get to a college football playoff. Likely to beat USC or TCU. We'll see who they draw. Get to a national championship. Dare I say win it? Because they look like one of the best teams in the country. And I'm sorry, it's Georgia, Michigan. They're at the same level for me. Georgia are not the Georgia of last year where, man, I watched Georgia and I'm like, oh my goodness, who is going to beat this team? I don't see it.
I get it. Are you talking about in terms of talent level on their football
dominance.
teams?
No, look at
because dominance. Those teams have won national championships. I mean,
well,
Michigan's
I understand,
not
but that's history. We're talking about this team this year.
Okay, so you're talking about this year is the playing field. Yeah,
it is a totally different field. Last year, there was a huge gap between Michigan and Georgia.
Yeah.
This year, it's, dare I say, even. No, Georgia probably would open up as 3.5, 4.5, maybe 5.5 point favorites against Michigan, rightfully so. Right? They have the credential, they have the history, and they have a damn good squad.
They do.
But I absolutely think Michigan can show up and be the next powerhouse. And they're on track to do it the way Dabo Swinney did. And when did Dabo do it? When Deshaun Watson came into town. What do you know? J.J. McCarthy? We talked about going to the next level, unlocking the untapped potential, the next ceiling that you may have as a Michigan Wolverine. Oh, what do you know? You might be playing in a national title game. You keep playing like this. And not might, you will, if you keep playing like this.
Right.
Michigan are clearly one of the 2 best teams in the country, and it's not a debate.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
There is nobody that belongs in the conversation with Georgia today other than Michigan. That's just the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I look at it, the more I just really see this playing out the way it did for Dabo. Now, do they win the Natty this year? Well, we have a month to have that conversation. But he is doing exactly what Dabo did. You want to compare the records. You want to go through the years. Dabo Swinney, year 1, 4 wins. Year 2, 9 wins. Year 3, 6 wins. Year 4, 10 wins. Year 5, 11 wins. Year 6, 11 wins. Year 7, 10 wins. Year 8, lost in the national championship. Year 9, won it. What happened? Deshaun Watson. Both of those.
There you go. And you go from Deshaun.
Then you take a year off. Trevor Lawrence, win the national championship, get to another one in the next 3 years.
That's what I'm interested to see is after next year, this is way too far ahead, but where do you go from J.J.? How do you find that next J.J. McCarthy?
By winning. Start there.
Absolutely.
And this is where they're at.
Yeah.
10 wins, 8 wins, 10 wins, 9 wins, 2 wins because of COVID, and then a 12-win season last year, and a college football playoff berth. And then this year another one, and likely Big Ten champions, and likely a national championship appearance.
Right.
It's the same program. It's the same build-up.
Michigan just has to get to that
Michigan
natty.
are now beating the rivals. See, the difference is Clemson didn't have to go through an Ohio State.
True.
They didn't have to go through Urban Meyer. Michigan have arrived. And if they get to a national championship, I think you have to have the conversation about this team. At least being in the group of, hey, which teams are going to compete and win the most natties over the next 5-7 years, I think you would put Michigan right up there, and rightfully so.
Yeah, if they get there, absolutely.
All right, when we get back, Cade McNamara enters the transfer portal. Where to next? A reflection on his time at the University of Michigan, what he was able to accomplish last season, what it means for the Wolverines moving forward, how the Detroit Lions offseason will shape out, especially at the running back position. That is a very, very interesting conversation. So we'll get to all that and more. But before we do, I got to tell you about our good friends over at Planet Fitness. Start today, $0 down, $10 a month. Your fitness is essential. Planet Fitness. Check them out by visiting them in store or by signing up at planetfitness.com.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
When you need apparel, there's only one place to go. Big Frog in Novi. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround, you can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, and screen printing, Big Frog has it all in all the styles you want. So whether it's a sports team, fundraiser, school event, or corporate needs, Big Frog is your one-stop destination. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4-BIG-FROG.
Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
At Alta, uptime matters. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. If you have a big project coming up, Alta Rent has you covered. Call them today, 844-GO-TO-ALTA. That's 844-GO-TO-ALTA today.
All right, we are back here on the Morning Woodward Show live, woodwardsports.com. Cade McNamara has officially entered the transfer portal. Since he became the starting quarterback, Michigan have gone 26-3, including this year, with 2 wins over Ohio State, a college football playoff appearance, and a Big Ten championship. And they will likely get another one if they beat Purdue on Saturday. And you guys know how pro J.J. I was in the offseason. You guys know how pro J.J. I was in the early parts of the year when they were having quarterback battles for the job. And look, Cade McNamara did his job last year. His job, and I'm saying this kindly, was to not mess things up. And when we needed a 3rd and 6 or a 3rd and 7, and I'm saying this from a Michigan standpoint, so please understand the use of we. You know, we are in the huddle. We need a 3rd and 4. We need a 3rd and 7. You know, for the most part, he did deliver in key moments. And there is the Nebraska game. There is the Penn State game underneath route to Eric All. There are moments where, yeah, well done, Cade. He had his moments at Michigan. And he is a Big Ten championship quarterback.
Absolutely.
And you can never take that away from him.
Nope.
So I would say the timing was about right. I would have waited till after the year, but I don't see an issue with what he did at all. He will get some attention, probably go out west. Colorado, maybe?
I got a spot.
Where's that?
He's from Nevada.
Yeah, we'll see.
I can see Nevada. I can see Miami. Josh
Remember,
Gaddis.
He's got 3 years, so I believe of eligibility left, or 2?
2 years of eligibility.
It can be 3 though because the injury designation he had this year. I believe so. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he gets 1 more year, so it would be 3 total. But anyways, beyond the point, I was very pro JJ. Cade did his job. And he was the starting quarterback when you ran through your schedule last year. He was the starting quarterback when you beat Ohio State for the first time in 10 years. He was the starter for the Iowa game. He was the starter in the college football playoff game. He was all that.
Yep.
So Yeah, look, it's an interesting day. It's an interesting morning. He'll move on. No, he's not going to Michigan State. I doubt it. Let's not be...
Would it be selfishly for the storyline? I want him in the Big Ten. I do. I think that'd be awesome.
He looks like an Iowa quarterback, a guy that drops back 37 times in an offense that can't pass the ball, and he goes like 13 to 37. That's just what he is. But, again, I always try to acknowledge when I'm right and when I'm wrong. And Michigan fans, I think I would say on multiple levels this year, on multiple occasions, you've witnessed J.J. McCarthy make plays that just wouldn't have happened. Sacks that he would have taken that J.J. couldn't or wouldn't because of his athleticism.
Making plays with his legs that Cade just simply wouldn't.
The ball to Cornelius Johnson is the most recent example. Yeah. Nobody makes that throw on that sideline, not even Cade.
Both throws.
Nobody.
And a throw to Loveland. Yeah, no.
They don't make those throws.
Throw to Ronnie Bell.
Loveland probably makes that throw. But my point is, off your back foot, under duress, to deliver that ball.
Beautiful.
Gave Cornelius Johnson a chance to make somebody miss. The rest is history. Cade did his job. He deserves to be praised for it. I think Michigan fans will remember him very well, as they should. Was he one of the best quarterbacks ever? No. But he did his job, and his job was enough to win the Big Ten. And his job was enough to get to a college football playoff for the first time. He was part of that. And he was a captain. So, to his credit, tip the cap to him, and good luck for whatever's next for him.
And his teammates loved him, and I think that's what matters too. Now, where he goes is going to be the question. There's a lot of options. I know people are talking about it in the chat. I see some Wisconsins. I see some Notre Dames. My two picks. My two picks. We'll see where he does. I think Miami with him makes sense with Josh Gaddis and Nevada. Maybe you go out west, play at your hometown. But I saw the comment in here, and I want to give credit where it's due. Whoever mentioned that before he committed to Michigan, super juggernaut, 87. Cade wanted to go to Notre Dame before he came to Michigan. So Notre Dame could be in that conversation.
Yeah, I'm not going to buy any of these rumors right now because the reality is he's going to want to go somewhere where he can get tape for the NFL. I think that's the next move.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
I'm not saying you have to like him as a prospect, but I'm telling you that's the move. How do I position myself to get drafted? Big 12, Pac-12. That's how. So those are the two conferences I see. I don't see Notre Dame. I don't see the ACC. And I definitely don't see the Big Ten. I could be wrong. That's fine. But I think the landscape of college football had a chance to change yesterday. I was a bit disappointed. I don't know if you caught Auburn and the hire they made.
Yeah.
That was disappointing.
Hugh Freeze. Yeah.
Not because he isn't qualified. He is. And he just signed like an 8-year extension, but that's a whole different problem at Liberty. But Deion Sanders at Jacksonville State.
Thank you.
Look, I'm not saying Deion Sanders is the greatest X's and O's guy, or Deion Sanders is an offensive savant. But I know he can recruit.
And he can coach.
I know what he's done for the HBCU community has been nothing short of exceptional. And I know that players love him. And I know that if I bring him to an LSU, an Auburn, a Florida State, if I bring him to a pretty damn good program, he could turn it into something.
Adham.
Just because of the talent he could bring in.
Adham, he made Travis Hunter, the best corner in the class he was recruiting in, commit to Jackson State. Like, don't tell me that...
The number one, I believe, player in the country.
Yes, number one player in the country. Don't tell me that if he goes to Auburn or any of these other schools. I know Colorado offered him, but Auburn just made so much sense.
It was an SEC program. Yes. It had history of winning the Cam Newton National
And if you
want
to compete with Alabama, bring someone in like Deion, who can at least recruit. Now, I don't know to the level of Alabama, but at least Deion... That brings on an entire new
I don't know,
atmosphere to your university.
Did you hear the report that he was offered the Colorado job?
Yeah.
That I would never accept that job if I'm Deion. Yeah, and I don't think he's going to.
Me either, yeah.
But how Florida State have gotten away with their fan base and hiring the coach they did. Now you see Auburn. Look, again, I'm not saying Deion is a lock to be one of the 5 best coaches in college football. But he's a lock to be one of the 5 best recruiters, especially year 1, 2, and 3.
And I think he's a hell of a coach. I mean, maybe I'm on an island with that one, but I do think Deion, anywhere he goes, they'll have success. Because he can recruit. He has good relationships with his players. He's got the ears of the
players, yep.
And he can coach. I think come on. It doesn't make sense to me, but we'll see. I think maybe people get a little put off by his aura.
Well, like because Deion he becomes the program, right?
Yeah, and it's Deion, which I'm okay with that. Here, Deion, here's the keys.
But let's be honest.
Handle it.
But let's be honest.
You'll be good.
What was Clemson before Dabo Swinney? They were just Clemson.
Yeah, right.
They were just Clemson. And now you see him running down that stupid valley thing, that stupid hill, full speed ahead in front of all his players.
What do you mean that stupid hill? It's smart.
Anyways, you see him doing it. Right, he's the center of attention. The CEOs are the coaches in college football, man. Right. They get all the credit. They get all the love and admiration. Nick Saban, the second he leaves Alabama, then what? Will you look at Alabama? Oh my goodness, this prestigious academic powerhouse of a sports school? No, because Nick Saban, he is Alabama. Man, I'm saying that, and I'm not saying that in a bad way.
No, they have a statue outside for him. He's not even done coaching yet.
Sometimes you want the guys that can come in and be bigger than your program.
Right.
Jim Harbaugh was bigger than Michigan when he showed up. Jim Harbaugh went to the Super Bowl, had gone to, 3 straight NFC championship games. Jim Harbaugh was larger than life at Michigan, and he still is, especially now that he's winning.
Right.
But when he arrived in Ann Arbor, he was bigger than that program. It's okay. You want guys like that because they'll come in and take your program to the next level. I think Deion Sanders can do it.
Yeah, no question.
And I was shocked that Auburn didn't give him a call. Because that's what it's looking like. They didn't even bother. And again, you may not like what he's doing, how he talks, how he handles himself at the podium. He has an innate ability to make players around him believe. And I think there's a lot of parents in this country that would trust him more than a lot of these coaches.
100%.
And if I'm I don't want to put people under pressure, but a Miami, if I'm a Florida State, if I don't want to say Oklahoma, it's too early for a winnable, but
it's tough.
If you're one of these top schools or you believe you can be a top school and you have a brand, don't be afraid of hiring Deion Sanders. My 2 cents.
Because if you are, I'm telling you, it'll be one of the best decisions that any university will ever make. You're bringing in Deion. He's a hell of a coach. Jesse Adams in the chat on WoolworthSports.com. Deion to Texas A&M next year.
No, I don't know how I feel about A&M. That just continues to feel like a lost program, especially under the current leadership. I'm not a fan of the AD. Jack Johnson says, Adam, how high are you? Bigger than the all-time winningest program? Really? You mean the all-time winningest program prior to 1954? Shut the hell up, Jack. Come on. Come on. Jack, you want to do this with me right now? You want to play this game with me?
How dare you, Adam?
No. We'll do this. Since the year 2006, Michigan 9-4, 3-9, 5-7, 7-6, 11-12, 8-5, 7-6, 5-7. You averaged about 7 wins a year. Under Harbaugh, you're averaging about 10. Please, enlighten me. Enlighten me. When Jim Harbaugh took over for that pathetic 5-7 Brady Hoke team, you were unranked going into the year as the most winningest program in the country. We are Michigan. This is why nobody likes you guys. This is why nobody likes you. Shit like this. The winningest program of all time. We have 10 national champions before your mother was born, Adam, and before her mother was born. We were winning football games when football wasn't even a sport. Shut the hell up.
I mean, they're not wrong.
Jim Harbaugh was bigger than Michigan when he showed up. And what I mean by that is his aura, his presence, allowed you to start recruiting in the top 5, top 7 immediately.
Just made the Super Bowl. I mean, coming off
you immediately had
NFL.
expectations when he showed up.
Right.
You didn't have them under Hoke or Rittra. Stop it.
No. Had ties to the university. I mean, it's all right. It's bigger than that.
Moving on. When we get back, how the Lions need to handle the offseason at running back. We'll have that conversation and more. But before we go, I got to tell you about my good friends over at The Butchery, the official meat supplier of the Woodward Sports Network. Call 248-682-COWS. That is 248-682-COWS. Sandwiches to die for, Wagyu meats, and artisan breads, all inspired by the legendary Chef Dave.
It's back. Year 3 of Woodward Sports Stuffa Studio is here. The past 2 years, we've collected new unwrapped toys and stuffed our studio so we could hardly fit in it. This year, we're doing it even bigger. Join Woodward Sports and our whole family December 19th to the 23rd as we stuff our studio. While you're out shopping or just sitting on your couch ordering presents, make sure you grab one extra and drop it off at our studio, 15 Mile in Woodward and Birmingham. We'll be collecting toys around the clock to make sure every child in Mott's Children's Hospital feels the warmth of the holiday season. It's the time of year to do for others. Help us stuff our studio. Special thanks to all the wonderful elves at Meyer and Guardian Alarm for keeping the toys safe. Stuff a Studio 2022 with Woodward Sports.
For a limited time only, all new burgers and loaded fries at Big Boy. It's not a Slim Jim, it's the Big Jim. The chili cheese is such a tease. Guess what else is new? The bacon blue. How about upgrading those fries? Chili cheese fries, baked potato fries, nacho fries. What will it be? Satisfy those taste buds at Big Boy.
My name is Lee. I've lost 35 pounds on the Custom Health Center program. So the 3 biggest benefits that I've gotten from this program has been I'm not snoring anymore, I have a lot of energy, it's great, and oh, by the way, look at this. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit CustomHealthCenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Good morning. We're back. 8:47 live. WoodwardSports.com. I'm feeling great. Great start to the show.
Me too.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. USA Soccer, 2 o'clock kickoff.
Can't wait.
I think this is the happiest I've been in like a while.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, there's been other games I've been happy for. This is like the very happy
game,
moment.
right?
Yes.
I mean, you're decked out, Fish.
I'll
Head to
make
toe
you a
in
deal,
US
Fish.
game,
If the US make
gear.
the knockout round,
no. Oh,
I will
here we
host
go.
a little watch party, and me and you will we'll get some popcorn, some Swedish fish,
wow.
some drugs. I mean, pop. Pop, I know you like pop.
I might not trust you on that one.
Okay, water. Spiked water.
I'll probably bring my own water.
But anyways, we'll host a party. Deal?
I think I looked it up. I think if they're in B2, they play on Saturday morning, I think it is. I think that's when they play. I'll look it up again. But I think they play Saturday morning if they get, which they're probably going to get B2.
Great. We'll wake up Saturday morning. We'll get we'll get some Swedish fish. We'll get some
get fish
Lunchables.
Get fish
we'll
and
get
Jack
some
and Coke.
Kool-Aid. We'll just enjoy ourselves.
I'm probably bringing my own food and drink.
That is fine. That is acceptable as well.
Because I don't know if I trust you. You're going to try to kill me.
I would never. I would
Spike
never.
your drink.
Okay. I think some people need me around here.
Fair enough. Jeff? Off-season.
Yeah.
Still a ways to go.
Yeah.
Still running backs to think about for the draft. Still running backs who could sign or not sign before free agency. It's a loaded free agent class.
It is.
But it's also a draft where, let's just be honest, you can find that guy in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round. It's just the reality of the position. What do you do here? You shell out money for a running back that maybe has 2 more years left, 3 if you're lucky,
Right.
or do you go for the fresh legs right out of college and take a chance?
Well,
Because you have Swift next year.
Yes, you do. And Jamal, we'll wait and see. I'm sure he'll.
They likely re-sign him.
Yeah,
he's the leader
he's
on that
probably extended. So in that instance, you look at the free agency class this upcoming offseason. You have Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, Miles Sanders, Tony Pollard. I mean, there's a lot of dudes in here. But the question is, and the Lions have to answer this question, do you need any of these guys? And I would answer no. You don't. You look at the offensive line the Lions have currently. There's not as much pressure to go get it. Number one, Saquon's going to get re-signed. He's going to stay in New York. Josh Jacobs, they declined his 5th-year option in Las Vegas. I'm expecting them to re-sign him. You never know. It's a lot of money they're going to have to fork up, especially after paying Devontae Adams. I'm not signing Josh Jacobs. Miles Sanders probably going back to Philly. Tony Pollard probably going back to Dallas if they can afford him. The way I want the Lions to approach this is go in the draft and draft a running back, because you look at the guys that are going to be available this year. You look at Beydoun Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Zach Evans, Zach Charbonnet, Mohamed Ibrahim. Like there's going to be enough talent in this upcoming class to at least take a flyer on a guy. I don't think you need to go out and spend any money on a running back. This defense needs all the help they can get. And even on top of that, to go out and sign a running back for what? Like, if you're signing Josh Jacobs,
let's
your
remove the
RB1.
top 4 backs, okay? Let's remove them from eligibility. Okay. Jacobs, Barkley, Sanders, and Pollard. Deal?
Deal.
And then we'll leave Jamal because he's technically already on the team right now. Fair? Mm-hmm. I'm going to read off a list of running backs, and I want you to take a guess. Take a stab at it. What do they all have in common? Jeff Wilson, David Montgomery, Raheem Mostert, James Robinson, Kenyon Drake, Damian Harris, Kareem Hunt, Rashad Penny.
Those guys weren't taken early in the draft.
Okay, that is one. It's not the one I'm looking for, though. Injury history.
Well, yeah, true. Those guys do get banged
guys
up.
that are notoriously banged up or have off-the-field issues.
But you look at DeAndre Swift. He was he had the least amount of workload coming out of college, and he's getting banged up. So I guess it really just depends.
It's a position where you're always hurt. And I think what you have to figure out is what is your typical prototype running back in this offense. And it doesn't need to be one player. And I think that's the mistake they made going into this year. It was so heavily on Swift's going to get the 12, 15 carries and 4, 5, 6 receptions.
Right.
Well,
right.
What about Joe Mixon? Samaje Perine. They do just fine together, and it's a lot of Perine now because Mixon's hurt, but even throughout the season, Mixon does catch the ball pretty regularly, but so does Perine.
And Mixon can also handle 25, 30 carries. I mean,
that's a bit different, right? Yeah, you want to find the guy that allows you to do not only both, but find specialty guys. You guys remember Theo Riddick? That was about as good as they got. Reggie Bush, Joy Bell. Right, guys that are polar opposites in run style, but allow you a lot of flexibility. In the NFL, you need to run situationally. You don't need Saquon. No. You don't need Dalvin Cook. You don't need Christian McCaffrey. You don't. You need to be able to run the football situationally. Who won the Super Bowl last year? Who was their running back?
Exactly.
Who were the 4 teams in the title games last year? The Bengals. Joe Mixon. The Chiefs. CEH. The Rams. Darrell Henderson.
Wow. Right.
And then you look at the Niners. They're running back by committee. They don't care who the hell it is.
But
and they got there.
With the 49ers, their offensive line allows them to do that. And I think the Lions, their offensive line allows more flexibility with who you get at running back. I watched Justin Jackson this year have big runs, make big plays. Swift, you expect him earlier in the season. I mean, he played really well, but to sustain that, he hasn't. Jamal Williams has played well behind this offensive line. If anything, that should give Lions fans and Brad Holmes less pressure to go find that. You have the best offensive line, one of the best in football. You don't have to go out and sign any of these premier backs. You just don't, especially how bad your defense is. Go out and draft a running back, develop him, and maybe he's your future starter. But no, you're not spending money on a running back. This offensive line is too good. I watched Craig Reynolds last year get 100 yards. 100 yards, Craig Reynolds, behind this offensive line. I don't want to hear it. You're not signing a running back. That money needs to be pushed elsewhere on the other side of the football on defense. So go out and draft a running back. Now, where you draft them is the question. If there's good enough defensive players available, I wouldn't mind if they just push drafting a running back to the 3rd or 4th round. I don't think you need to take one in the 2nd. Now, if there's someone really good available, maybe you think about it. But no, this defense needs way more help than the running back position for the Detroit Lions. They'll be fine.
Okay, fair. So what do you do? Are you looking in free agency, or are you saying, you know what, we got 6 picks in the first 3 rounds?
You draft one.
We're drafting one.
Yeah.
Fresh legs, fresh contract, probably late 2nd round, early 3rd.
Yeah, put him on a cheap deal. Yeah, that could be better, outplay his contract. I'm not going out and signing a running back. It's not really how that works anymore. Unless you have a premier back. Like Saquon, I'm sure he'll get re-signed. Josh Jacobs, we'll see. I think that'll be the big one that goes somewhere in free agency. But, yeah, no, you're not giving – what are you going to give, significant money to Kareem Hunt? No, you're not doing that. So, no, go out and draft one.
Let's revisit the 2022 NFL Draft, okay?
Let's do it.
Breece Hall, Isaiah Spiller, Kenneth Walker, Damian Pierce, James Cook, Brian Robinson, Rashad White, Kyron Williams. He's been pretty good for the Rams.
Rashad White just had a 100-yard game with that offensive line for the Bucs. Where was he drafted?
Brian Robinson, I want to say...
I think it was like the third, fourth...
I could be wrong.
Third or fourth round.
I'm not going to take a stab at it. But anyways, beyond the point. It's not just where they were drafted, right? Breece Hall, 2nd round. Kenneth Walker, 2nd round. James Cook, 2nd round. Rashad White, 3rd round. Let's see. Who else we got on this list? These are just to name a few. Brian Robinson, 3rd round. Damian Pierce, 4th round. Isaiah Spiller, 4th round. Hassan Haskins, 4th round. Tyler Algier, 5th round in Atlanta. He's getting significant snaps and actually doing a pretty good job.
Right.
Ty Chandler for the Vikings, 5th round. Just go draft one.
That's it.
I don't think you need to spend a single dollar outside of if you're interested on a 1-year deal, you can bring back Jamal Williams. Maybe.
Look at Jamal. You paid him 2 years, $10 million, and he's having a career year. He has more touchdowns than he's ever had in multiple seasons with Green Bay. Like, that should tell you. Like, $5 million for Jamal Williams, I'm cool with that, with this offensive line. Don't go out and spend any significant money on anybody. They'll be just fine. Go draft one.
All right.
Draft one.
Fair enough. Let's take a quick pause. When we get back, I want to revisit Michigan, and I want to talk about how they got here and why they got here and what Jim Harbaugh has not only recognized and delivered on over the last 3-4 years, but what Ohio State has failed to see. Because I do think there is culpability on both sides here. Why did Ohio State suddenly drop, and why did Michigan suddenly spike? Let's have that conversation coming up in just a bit. But before we go, Jeff, our good friends over at the Sports Marketing Agency.
Well, the Sports Marketing Agency helps spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their new podcast, This is the S Word, helps fight the stigma about seeking help. If you or someone you know is struggling, head to thesportsma.com for more information.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Jeff Iafrate here. Let me tell you about our friends at the Fulling Warehouse in Hamtramck, because it is the home of the original football bowling game. 2 to play for $12, the unlimited open play, or you can pay $120 for a lane reservation for up to 10 people. $2 Mr. Beer Machine, full bar. Check it all out. FullingWarehouse.com.
All right. We are back. Top of the hour. WoodwardSports.com live. The Morning Woodward Show. Adham, Beydoun, Jeff Iafrate. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. It's a big day. Really for the country, right? Got the United States kicking off against Iran, 2 o'clock. Win and they're in. Draw or loss are unacceptable. Having said that, Jeff, Michigan's road to success, right? How did the Wolverines finally vanquish the Buckeyes? Urban Meyer 7-0 against Michigan. Jim Harbaugh could never win the big game. It's the game, a bad spot, blowouts, Don Brown, yada, yada, yada. How'd they get here? And I don't like singling out individuals, but when they fired Don Brown, it's just the truth.
You took the words out of my mouth.
I know, but it's the truth.
Yeah, it is the truth.
When they got rid of Don Brown, that changed everything.
Yep.
But also when Urban left, it changed everything. because you guys make, and again, it's your right to make fun of Ryan Day and born on third base. Yeah, it's your right, and there's actually a lot of truth to it. But he's only lost twice in the last 2 years. And both of those losses, 3 losses. And 2 of them are against Michigan. The other, Oregon. He hasn't lost in the Big Ten to any team except Michigan.
And what do all 3 of those teams have in common, man? They can run the football. And that's been the weakness.
I want to start with Ohio State because we focused a lot on Michigan, and I want to hear your thoughts on Michigan after. But Ohio State, their fundamental flaw is they are I would say they're outthinking themselves a bit. They are psyching themselves out. Ohio State have become what Michigan have, and unable to close the deal, unable to beat Michigan. And yes, it's only 2 years. But that is a long time. I know Ohio State has dominated for over 2 decades. Let's not sugarcoat this.
Right.
But these past 2 years hasn't looked close. You've gotten mollywopped in the second half. You've been outrushed in the second half, 430-plus yards to 20 yards in the second half of games against Michigan in your last 2. You've been outscored, what, 40, 50 to 3, 50 to 7, something like that. You've been outscored by 50-plus points in the last 2 halves. I am shocked at how weak Ohio State is. I am shocked with how weak Ohio State is mentally and physically under Ryan Day. And his coaching, because that was not an Urban Meyer team. Urban Meyer football teams could play anywhere because they controlled the line of scrimmage, because they had quality defensive backs, because they had Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa, Chase Young. Ohio State could do anything. And now they can throw the ball. And that's about it. Mm-hmm. I don't know what they do well outside of that. And they got some nice players on defense. And they have improved, I have to say. They have improved from last year. But they have a mental and physical flaw when it comes to playing against Michigan that Michigan have a supreme advantage at. Jeff, Ohio State lost the game before the game started. They were mentally done. They went into halftime barely up. And they had out first down them 14-6. And they had outgained them in every category. And they controlled the clock, and they had everything.
Michigan had 10 yards rushing at the half.
Michigan had nothing going into the fourth quarter rushing until Donovan Edwards broke off 150 yards worth of yards until in 2 carries, excuse me. Are you kidding me? Ohio State are physically and mentally impaired at the moment when it comes to Michigan. And I think it's a reflection of their culture right now and their coaching, notably Ryan Day. And no, Ryan Day doesn't need to get fired. No, he doesn't need to be on the hot seat. Stop it. But remember when we used to have conversations about Jim Harbaugh needs to beat Ohio State? Hey, Ryan Day. Hey, buddy. You're going to Ann Arbor next year. You lose that game, the amount of hell and pressure you're going to have going into next year if you even make it. Oof. Michigan, to me, are dominating the mental and physical part of this game and this series over the last 24 months. Yeah, and that's been the biggest change outside of Don Brown.
Yeah, no question. I think Don Brown, I think you hit on it and made great points. Firing of Don Brown, the assistant coaches he's brought in, his defensive coordinators, his offensive coordinators, Jim Harbaugh's hires have been excellent. On top of that, when you look at a football team, you look at their head coach, they reflect their football team, their identity, right? With Jim Harbaugh, toughness, dominating at the line of scrimmage, running the football. What is Ohio State's identity? And you mentioned it. Where's the players at? I mean, where's your Bosa brothers? Where's your Chase Young? What happened to DBU? What happened to Denzel Ward? What happened to Jeff Okudah? They don't have those players. And on top of that, you can recruit all these skill position players. You can get your Olaves. You can get your Garrett Wilsons. You can get your Marvin Harrison Juniors. You can get your Jackson Smith-Njigbas. You can get your C.J. Strouds. You can get your Justin Fields. But you know what that compiles into? Still not a tough football team, right? That's what you talk about, dominating at the line of scrimmage. And this Ryan Day's tenure so far, that has not been their identity. And it's a complete opposite of what Urban Meyer was. So for Ryan Day, it's getting tougher at the line of scrimmage. And we sound like a broken record, and that's why I brought it up before on the pregame show previewing the game. It's like the personnel for Ohio State that got dominated last year at the line of scrimmage, it's very similar this year. So it's not like all of a sudden Ohio State's just going to get tougher and be more dominant in the trenches. It's just not how that works. They couldn't stop the run. They couldn't do it against Oregon. They couldn't do it against Michigan last year. And here we go, follow it up. They can't do it against Michigan this year. So I don't really see this changing. And I had fun yesterday, and I wanted to look at Ohio State's the recruits for the next couple of years. And I see a lot of defensive linemen. I see a lot of offensive linemen. And you could tell that's where their identity they're trying to get to, because if you're going to compete with Michigan, you got to get tougher up front, no question. And that's been the negative or the knock on Ryan Day, because, yes, as teams, you have finesse, but they're soft. They really are, especially at the line of scrimmage. You saw that, the first half they looked good. They held Michigan to 10 yards rushing, but who sustained it? Who was tougher in the fourth quarter? It was Michigan, no question. Even without Mike Morris, their defensive line looked way better. So, again, it is what it is. Ryan Day's identity so far with Ohio State, it's hard. Compared to what Urban Meyer was, Ohio State fans are furious, and it's actually an joy to watch. So until you go out and you get your Bosa brothers, your Chase Youngs, your Akutas or Denzel Wards, Ohio State offensively can be as pretty as they want. They could be a Ferrari, but that Ferrari has scored 50 in 2 years against Michigan State, and they've given up almost 100 points. So hasn't worked out until they fix what they're doing defensively. They fired their defensive coordinator last year, and they still look soft. So talk about it from a coaching perspective. It's a personnel problem with Ohio State. We'll see how they handle it moving forward. But
it's Michigan, a personnel problem, sure. I have to give you that. But, Jeff, who's in charge matters, man. Was it a personnel problem with USC? Is it a personnel problem with Texas A&M?
Oh, no, it's coaching. That matters. But, again, Lincoln Riley, USC,
know. That's my guy.
Reflects Lincoln Riley. Like, you could tell that team has an identity.
That's a Lincoln Riley team.
Right.
Suspect on defense, insanely productive on offense.
Right.
They win football games, regardless of how bad their defense plays.
Right.
Welcome to Lincoln Riley football teams.
What is Ryan Day's football
team? And if he
team?
wins, by the way, if they beat Utah and he gets to the college football playoff in year one, I am going to be an insufferable asshole for a month up until that game. I'm just saying it from now. So you're going to have to deal with me. I apologize in advance. You know I love you. But I am going to be insufferable. Having said that, it's not just personnel for Ohio State. They've got the personnel. To me, it's culture.
Yeah.
It is. Look, I'm not. Look, guys, you know your history. Jim Tressel football teams were physical. Jim Tressel football teams were mentally prepared for anything. And you know what? I would say even Urban Meyer teams to an extent. And I would say definitely Urban Meyer teams more so than Ryan Day football teams. But Ryan Day has to look in the mirror and say, hey, I'm in the Big Ten. I am the head coach of Ohio State. Ohio. I have an abundance of resources and an abundance of talent. But what does all this talent mean if we are not physically and mentally ready for what happens on the field? That is a culture, that is a coaching gut check. And maybe it takes 2 straight losses to Jim Harbaugh for Ryan Day to realize this, and then he answers the bell, and next year he comes out guns blazing.
Right.
Maybe he does. Let's not forget, they're 11-1. They were 11-0 going into the game. That's not a bad team. That's not a poorly coached team. They wanted to win that game so bad, they didn't. For a multitude of reasons. But Ryan Day needs to get more physical at the line of scrimmage, offensively and defensively, if he wants any shot at replicating the type of dominance Urban Meyer showed during his time at Ohio State. It's that simple. And there's no way around it.
And the last 2 years have displayed that.
I just read awful news, by the way. Quarterback, Purdue, Aiden O'Connell, brother passed away. Brutal.
They're gonna have something to play for.
Yeah, they're gonna have something to play for, but
it's terrible news.
That's awesome, man.
But for the Ryan Day,
that is awesome. But at the same time, when I mean awesome, like I love the camaraderie and stuff. I love how they're all supporting him. But dude, Really? Lose your brother? Older brother? Week before the biggest game of your life? That sucks, man.
It is.
That sucks. That's a tough one. Michigan got to be ready for that game. That is arguably... Look, if we're being honest here, Jim Harbaugh has a chance to win 13 games this year. Think about this, Jim. You know when the last time Michigan won 13 games? Take a stab at it.
The last time Michigan won 13 games?
13 games. The last time Michigan had 13 on the board for an entire season. They were 12-2 last year, just an FYI.
I'll say 12 years.
12 years?
13 years.
Nope.
It's even longer.
Add
1994.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's,
Oh, wait.
30
actually,
years.
Nothing. Never.
Oh, okay.
Michigan have never won 13 games in a season. Ever. That's how important that Big Ten championship game is. They will be able to win 13 games for the first time in program history against Purdue. They've never won 13 games.
It's right in front of them.
It's all in front of them. I'm excited. I really am. I do expect Michigan to win this game. We'll see how they go about resting Donovan Edwards, Blake Corum, Mike Morris. You do want them ready for the college football playoff, but you don't also want them rusty. Blake Corum for sure probably sits, given the extent of his injury.
Right.
I would give Morris and Edwards a good shot to play, but we'll get to that later in the week. Big Ten Championship this Saturday. Michigan, Purdue.
Can't wait.
It's going to be spicy. It's going to be spicy. Can't wait. But before we go, Jeff, I got to tell everybody at home about our good friends over at Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Lady Jane's open 10-8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. No appointment necessary. Their awesome stylists will take care of you like they take care of me. So get to a Lady Jane's near you for a precision haircut by their awesome stylists. Oh, thank
It's
you.
back.
What the fuck
Year
was-
3 of Woodward Sports Stuff a Studio is here. The past 2 years, we've collected new unwrapped toys and stuffed our studio so we could hardly fit in it. This year, we're doing it even bigger. Join Woodward Sports and our whole family December 19th to the 23rd as we stuff our studio. While you're out shopping or just sitting on your couch ordering presents, make sure you grab one extra and drop it off at our studio, 15 Mile in Woodward in Birmingham. We'll be collecting toys around the clock to make sure every child in Mott's Children's Hospital feels the warmth of the holiday season. It's the time of year to do for others. Help us stuff our studio. Special thanks to all the wonderful elves at Meyer and Guardian Alarm for keeping the toys safe. Stuff a Studio 2022 with Woodward Sports.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zaniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarthy on our side.
Lemieux and McCarthy, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Whether you're a player or a fan, helping you buy, sell, or invest is Michael Phillips' top priority. Being in the game for over 23 years makes Michael the #1 option for anybody. So if you have real estate needs, call Michael Phillips at 1-800, botched that one, 313-403-0011. That is 313-403-0011.
Do you want me to fill in for the last...
I want you to shut the hell up so I can do my job. But clearly that is something you don't know how to do.
I did. I let you do your job.
Not really.
Okay.
This is excited today. USA Soccer, baby.
Well, I just bet on the USA Soccer.
What'd you pick? You didn't even tell me. You said you were going to stay away.
I know, but I'm looking at
God.
it. They're at plus 100 right now. It's free money.
What does that mean? You put like a lot of money?
If I put $100, I make $100. For every dollar I put in, I make money basically.
What are the odds on? What are they? Plus
100.
Plus 100.
Okay. All right.
Man.
I don't want to know.
I'm all in, Fish. I don't know. 1,200 on this.
Oh,
no, you
boy.
did not. Don't show
Jeff,
me.
you
Don't show me
know
the slip.
him.
I know.
When he says he put a lot of money on it, he puts a lot of money on it.
Jester,
But he's allowed to.
Fish,
He wins a
Jester
lot.
in the
Yeah.
Woodward Sports Chat says, Jeff, can you ask Fish who he's taking, Senegal or Ecuador?
I put a draw on that game.
Did you?
Draw on
Okay.
that
Because I did a parlay. I put $100 on Netherlands to win, Ecuador to draw,
Okay.
USA to win, England to win today.
Ooh. Okay,
$50
that's fair enough.
pays out a lot of money. $643.
Oh,
It's a good
okay.
bet.
When you say a lot of money, I'm thinking like
Oh,
thousands.
What is it?
When you say a lot of money, I think thousands of dollars immediately because I just know how you bet.
Thank you.
So.
Thank you.
Westfall, you doing the same thing?
We're all in. We're all in on the U.S. today.
How
And
do
if
you
they
not?
lose, that gives me a reason to absolutely tear them apart.
Well.
So they better win.
Yeah, they
'Cause
should.
They got a lot of money on it.
Hopefully they do.
Fair?
Oh, they had the whole country on their side.
What does that mean? They had their whole country on their side for the first two games. They blew both of those games.
They blew the first one.
They blew both. They were better than England.
Yeah, they
and
no,
were
they
better than
were.
Wales.
Yeah, okay.
They were better than
Yeah,
England, Fish.
I can-
And that's coming from
No,
me.
no, no. I know
And
they
I'm
were better
very
than
harsh.
England, but that Wales game we played awful in the second half.
They played awful in the second half, but they gave up a penalty that should have never been a penalty because there was a foul that happened before then that should have been called, and the
Okay.
ball was out of bounds.
Okay.
If you recall correctly. If not, it's okay.
I do recall most of it.
All in. All in.
How do you have to be?
All in.
You got to be all in.
Ecuador
Good.
and Senegal to draw. Let me see what
Okay.
this bet says again.
You already forgot?
Senegal, let me see. Senegal, Ecuador draw plus 210.
It's not a bad bet.
Netherlands to win minus 550. They're
Did
the
you
heavy
look at the
favorite.
standings? Do you know what they need?
What?
Do you know what both teams in that game need? Because they're not going to tie.
Netherlands
if-
already qualified. Ecuador
Yeah.
needs to draw or win to get in.
What does Senegal need?
And Senegal, I believe, is out unless they win.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the order. I could be wrong. And then the
Okay.
U.S. needs to win in England. They can do whatever, and they're in.
Yeah. Well, see, that scares me because England don't care. I mean, they want to get first, but they basically got first locked
They will
up.
play. They will play for first place, and Wales suck. They're out. So likely a 2-1 game England win. That's my
Okay.
bet. But let's move on from soccer for a little bit. Let's go around the NFL. Some of the best and worst situations currently living around the NFL landscape. Jeff, I'm going to start with one of my favorite situations currently happening in the NFL. The Philadelphia Eagles.
Talk to me. Yeah.
That's your team. That's why I'm talking to you about them first. Exceptional performance on Monday night. The offense, I mean, that was a whole different side of Jalen Hurts you never really saw all year. My goodness, 150-plus yards rushing. He barely had to throw the ball. And you know they have Devontae Smith. You know they have A.J. Brown. And they just doubled down on their run game. Miles Sanders looked phenomenal.
No Dallas
That
Goedert.
offensive line was very good.
Mm-hmm.
And the defense was opportunistic and took their chances when they got them. And that's a legit contender in the NFC. I think it's one of the better situations in football right now.
Yeah, especially in a wide-open NFC. You know what's crazy, though? The Eagles, with a young Jalen Hurts, somebody that has gotten tremendously better every year he's been in the NFL, they're undefeated on the road this year. So talk about the poise of a young guy in Jalen Hurts. The Eagles, I love them, man. They're my favorite to come out of the NFC. We'll see, you know, looking at the AFC, I think the Super Bowl winner comes out of the AFC still. But the Eagles, I said it in the beginning of the year, and I'll say it now. They have the most complete team in the NFL. Period. They do. Top to bottom. Any position, name it, they have the better position. Now, quarterback, you could argue there's other teams like Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen, but still, no question. The Eagles, as a roster, have one of the better ones in the NFL. So, Eagles are doing great, man. Their loss to the Commanders, they blew that. I mean, they could still be undefeated, but nonetheless, one loss is one loss. I think they'll be fine. They're going to lock up that number one seed. They're going to have a bye week. And I think they're going to cause some havoc in the postseason because what they do travels. They can run the ball. They have a physical offensive line, a versatile offensive line. They can pass protect. They can run block. They have a quarterback that takes care of the football. They can run the ball. They have receivers. They have a great defense. And Nick Sirianni, if he's as good of a coach as we all have seen so far, they're going to be just fine. So got a lot of hope in the Eagles, man. They're a good roster. And you know what's crazy? They still have picks coming. So they're not done.
They won that Saints trade
No question.
100%. The Seahawks, Eagles, and the Lions right now are looking really good because of the trades they made.
Yeah.
Worst situation in football, Houston. That team is so void of talent that even if you bring the franchise guy in and you nail on the pick, what is there? Nico Collins? Brandon Cooks? Damian Pierce-Adam? He's averaging 1 yard a carry the last 2 games. 1 yard a carry. A beat-up offensive line. Derek Stingley? This is why you don't take corners in the top 3. This is why. You don't waste your pick on a secondary player that by the time he enters his prime, then what? Where's your team building? Where's your generational tackle? Where's your generational edge rusher? You don't have a pass rush in Houston. Brutal. I think Houston is one of the worst situations in the NFL. They went from, I believe David Culley was his name last year, to Lovie Smith this year. Lovie Smith likely gone at the end of the year again. They're going to go through their second coach in 2 years. That team needs so many draft picks to hit in the next 2 years just to have a chance to win in year 3. 3 years from now, Jeff, I think it's the worst situation in football.
Yeah.
I think I'm more optimistic about Carolina, the New Orleans Saints. I'm optimistic about a lot of teams that are in pretty bad shape right now. To me, Houston is a lost cause. I don't understand what they're doing. There's no direction. There's no belief in a coach. The quarterback play, you bench Davis Mills, who's been actually okay.
Yeah.
For Allen, who sucks.
Yeah, it's a disaster, man.
Houston is
it
an
really
awful
is.
situation, and their record reflects it, by the way.
And we'll see with Lovie Smith, too. You draft your franchise quarterback. That's an interesting situation. Is Lovie Smith there to kind of keep things aflow as you get your franchise quarterback, as you add more talent? I'm not sure Lovie will be the coach when they expect to win games. But, yeah, the only thing going for them is they have a chance to get their franchise quarterback this year. But other than that, they still are a roster void of talent. So we'll see. We'll see. But I think they hit on Stingley so far, so they just got to keep drafting well. That's all they got to do. But, yeah, Houston right now has little to no talent. They don't really have a culture in place. So it's one of the, probably the worst situation right now in the NFL. No question about it.
Fair enough. Give me one of your better situations in the NFL.
Ooh, I'm gonna go with the Dolphins.
Jeff. Talk to me.
For what they're building, because my goodness. You have your franchise quarterback on a rookie deal. You have 2 elite wide receivers, Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. On top of that, you have Bradley Chubb. You have a really, really good defense that has a lot of young, up-and-coming players. Javon Holland is a great safety. They have good linebackers. They have guys up front that are dominating. Christian Wilkins. Now Bradley Chubb they acquire. I love what Miami's doing, man. I really do. They got Armstead at left tackle. They're going to be a team that, obviously given Tua's health, they're going to be a team with Mike McDaniels that are going to be relevant for quite some time. So I like what they're doing in Miami. I think they're a great situation. They really are.
I agree 100%. I think it's arguably the best situation in the AFC right now. You have a coach that walked in, had a quarterback that didn't believe in himself, who had just been under a head coach that didn't believe in him at all.
Right.
Ownership being suspended, the franchise isn't going to work. They go and get Tyreek Hill. McDaniel sits him down and shows him 700 plays of why he's an amazing quarterback. And what do you know? Tua is a front runner, in my opinion, for MVP this year. Unbelievable. One of the worst situations. Here's where I'm at, and this is a great situation if I'm honest with you. Los Angeles Rams are 3-8. They're going to finish 3-14. The Detroit Lions are going to have a top 2, top 3 pick. And I am all for it. One of the worst situations in football. Mm-hmm. Great situation for Detroit.
I'll give you another terrible situation. What about the Arizona Cardinals? Think about it.
They're in a terrible situation because their quarterback is a drama-filled...
quarterback that you're paying...
I don't care what you're paying
$50 million to.
You know how I feel about franchise quarterbacks. When you have them, you pay them, no matter what. But Kyler Murray, when are you going to be the adult in the room?
Yeah.
Schematically, we were fucked. Boy. Wow, that sounds like Joe Burrow to me. That sounds like Josh Allen, Tua Tagovailoa. That sounds like one of the franchise guys in the NFL right now.
Lamar doesn't say that. He's trying to get paid. So it's
Look, Arizona need to do two things.
They got to shoot Cliff Kingsbury out of a cannon.
Unfortunately.
Immediately.
Well, I think he has potential, but not as a head coach. Maybe an OC.
No.
I think he was given a good opportunity that he let fall away back-to-back years. This year is a wash. They're 4-8. But those teams, let's not forget, Cliff Kingsbury had those teams rolling through November. And then they collapsed the final 2 months of the year. They were rolling up until Thanksgiving.
Right.
The last 2 years, they were one of the best teams in the NFL. Collapsed. Just like his teams at Texas Tech did. So, I like him, but he's not fit for the league. He's not fit to be a head coach right now in the NFL.
And he can't hire staff. He's bad at hiring assistant coaches. Like the last two coaches he's hired have both gotten in trouble legally. Like that's kind of been the theme.
That's a character thing. I don't know how you define it, but that's fair.
Okay.
That's fair.
As
at the end of the day, they need to do two things.
Yeah.
They need to get rid of Cliff Kingsbury, and they need to nail his replacement.
Yeah.
Because if they don't, they're going to be paying a quarterback that they don't want.
Yeah.
And that won't want to be there.
Get an adult in the room. It's not Cliff Kingsbury.
You're going to need... I don't know how you deal with it. Because I think Cliff fits that young, high motor, high communication guy, but it doesn't work with Kyler apparently. So do I go out and get somebody like Cliff who has communication skills, offensive-minded, or do I go for an adult that's going to turn Kyler into more of a professional? It's a tough decision for Arizona. I'm going to follow up with my best situation in the NFL, arguably of any team. Any team, because of how much they're overachieving. Washington Commanders.
You know what? You're right.
Are 7-5. And I swear to God, I don't know how.
I've been hard on Ron Rivera this year. I really have, but I got to give him credit here. What they're doing with Taylor Heineke.
They've won 3 in a row.
Yeah.
They've beaten Philly, Atlanta, and Houston. Houston, not the best matchup, but still. They barely lose to the Vikings. They play the Colts close and they beat them. They beat the Packers. They beat the Bears. They barely lose to the Titans. They get blown out by the Eagles and the Cowboys earlier in the year. They get manslaughtered by the Lions. And then they open up against the Chiefs, they open up against the Jaguars and win that game. So they're 7-5, and I just don't get it. Taylor Heineke isn't a good quarterback. But they play well. But they have the Giants on the road this week. They have a bye week, and then they host the Giants. So they get 3 weeks of prep, basically, to win one of these next 2 games. And they're likely going to make the playoffs. And then it's the Niners, the Browns, and the Cowboys. A very difficult 3-game stretch to end of the year. They could very well end up 8-9. But I am shocked with the fact that they're winning games.
Yeah, it's great.
To their credit, they're winning games.
And Ron Rivera, again, he deserves a ton of credit, man. I mean, he's got that team playing well. Chase Young hasn't even played yet, if I'm not mistaken. So he'll be back. But with no Chase Young and what they're doing defensively, they've gotten better. Offensively, they built the offense around Taylor Heineke, playing to his strengths. That's coaching. Got to give credit where it's due, man. Ron Rivera's getting that team. They're going to make the postseason this year. The whole NFC East is going to make the postseason.
They're all in right now, and the AFC East is almost like that as well.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick pause. When we get back, what is at stake on Sunday? I know it's a little early, but I want to see the upside and the downside of the result on Sunday against the Jacksonville Jaguars at home. I want to talk to you guys about it. Phone lines are open, 313-552-6322. Let's have the conversation. And, of course, we'll wrap up with USA Soccer. Fish, that's going to be all you. Can't wait to have the conversation with you.
Go
but
USA.
before we go, Jeff, the best defense on and off the field.
Let me tell you about them, guys. It's Guardian Alarm. Because Guardian Alarm, even in a cold winter, they'll make sure your house is protected. And you can spend more time inside and not have to worry about your outside. Guardian Alarm can give you peace of mind. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT today, and you can rest easy knowing you have 24/7 constant protection. That's 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Right.
Let them know your friends at Woodward Sports sent you.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
a winter wonderland if you can shop, eat, and play. Lucky for you, you can do it all at the Downtown Detroit Market, Cadillac Lodge, and the new winter version of the Monroe Street Midway, all located just across the street from Campus Martius Park. Find the fun at deckedoutdetroit.com.
Hi, I'm John from Better Rate Mortgage, and to me, family is more than blood. That's why I have the biggest family in Metro Detroit. If you're looking to buy a house or refinance and need a loan, come get treated better than family by me and our entire team here at Better Rate Mortgage. We pride ourselves on giving you better advice, better service, and a better loan experience. That's why we are Better Rate. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family. Actually, better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit us at mybetterrate.com or call at 248-480-4467 today.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
All right, we are back here on the Morning Woodward Show live, woodwardsports.com. Ryan Romani is a made man at the moment. Michigan have beaten Ohio State for the second consecutive year. But more importantly, Ryan has lost over 20 pounds since starting his journey with Dr. Jason and everybody over at Custom Health Centers. You can see him on the screen. Total night and day difference with what he is now. He was 23, 24 pounds heavier, I believe, in that picture. And now he looks better. I have to give him credit. I'm shocked. It not only works, it changed this dude's life. Ryan is literally has a pep in his step now. It's kind of weird seeing Ryan so, like, upbeat.
Yeah, no, I refuse to bring my girl around him now.
Oh, all right, relax, guy.
He's-
All right,
he's-
we're moving on.
he's an attractive human
Having
being.
said that, here we go. We're back on the show. You can take him off the screen now. Jeff took it too far. Here we are. Jeff, my question to you, what is at stake on Sunday? I don't think playoffs was ever real unless they would have beaten Buffalo.
Yeah.
Okay? It's very, very difficult to see that scenario playing out. Having said that, what's at stake? Is there anything at stake?
I think momentum's real, right? You win 3 games in a row, you lose to Buffalo, and everyone understands, well, they played their ass off. You're facing a team that many expected, including myself, to be in the Super Bowl this year. But how do you follow it up? And it's not even about the playoffs to me. It's about culture, right? And we talk about culture all the time. I feel like it's thrown around everywhere. Culture to me, and me and Adam have had this discussion, you got to win to have culture. And the Lions right now in the position they're in, I'm not even thinking about the playoffs, but to win these games down the stretch against teams that are in similar positions, the Jags, the Jets, Carolina, the Bears, the Packers, to take care of these teams in Minnesota, they're good teams, so we won't include them. But these other teams, go out and win games you're supposed to win, or you at least have a good chance to win. Take care of it, especially at home. So for me, it's not about the playoffs. It's about the momentum they've built over that 3-game stretch. Losing to Buffalo, can they sustain that? Can they get back to winning some of these games? We talked about Dan and what our expectations were. Mine, I thought the Lions would go 8-9, 7-10, 6-11 at the very least. They can do that. They have the opportunity to do that. They can win 7 games this year, and that's the goal for me. Going out and improving, doubling your win total at least this season, showing a more competitive football team, a more competent football team, especially from a head coaching standpoint. Dan can improve on his decision-making late in games. You're not sitting there at the end of the Jaguar game this weekend questioning any decision he made. So for me, I still want to see player development. You want to see these guys, these young players that have been so excellent over the last 4 games, continue to take that step. That's what I'm looking for. Also from a head coaching perspective, from the coordinator's perspective, Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, my mind isn't on the playoffs, Adam. It's about this team keeping the momentum they had when they won 3 games in a row, winning games that you'd think they win, like this weekend against the Jags. It's a coin toss, because I think they can win at home. So go do it. Go take care of these teams. Has nothing to do with the playoffs, Adam. It's about just winning, because I think that'll bode well for them going into next season, how they finish just in general, 3-game winning streak, stringing off all these wins at the end of the season. For these young players, That's going to carry. I know wins don't carry over, but that mentality of how you approach a game when you're winning games will carry over. So that's what I'm looking for. Go win some games.
Dan Campbell said it would take a lot for Jamison Williams to play on Sunday.
Yeah, and Romeo Okwara. Yeah, those two.
Let's say he misses Jacksonville. All right? You got 5 games of it. I think that's enough of a sample size to determine, all right, you're, I would say, feeling good about your draft pick going into next season. Fair or not fair?
Fair.
5 games is enough.
Yeah.
Probably get 30 targets, 35 targets in that last 5-game stretch. We'll see. We'll see. Jamison Williams, if he plays, though, that will be the story of Sunday. What do they have to lose? What's at stake? Your reputation's at stake, if that makes sense, Jeff. I just watched Jeff Saturday on Monday night walk away with 3 timeouts. Totally mismanaged the clock. No clue what the hell was going on. Not sure what the hell was going on with them. Not sure their reasoning behind it. I didn't agree with it. And the fact that that is something Dan Campbell has done is already something in the back of my head I don't like, but I want to see his improvement continue. What did we sit up here and say for 3 weeks when they were on the 3-game winning streak? Boy, Dan's gotten out of the way.
Yeah.
Clock management's a lot better. They're going for it on 4th down at a lesser rate, but only when they have to. They're not trying to go out and lose the game early because of bad decisions. Not shooting themselves in the foot. Cool. They had Buffalo beat. Clock management. Cost you the game. That's what's in front of you. Can you continue to inspire and build confidence over the next 6 games? And if you can do that, given the draft capital you have, given the cap space that will be available to you, we will be talking about a team that can contend with the Minnesota Vikings next year for the NFC North. Fair or not fair, Jeff?
Fair.
That's just the reality. This team's going to get a lot better this offseason. A lot better. What are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
And can you show over the next 6 games that you are ready to take a team that is almost there or there already and take them where they want to go?
Mm-hmm. Because
that's what year 3's for.
And the question we ask, and I've asked this multiple times, especially when you're 1-6, and my concern with Dan Campbell, looking at it, Dan with this roster, you can excuse a lot of the things he was doing. Well, this team's not very good. He has to try these things. But what about when you get Dan a very talented roster? Can you trust him? And that's what I want to see at the end of the year, because with free agency, with all the draft picks they have coming up, you're going to add talent. There's no question. But do you trust Dan with all that talent on making the right decisions, putting these guys in the right spot? So far, you won 3 games in a row. You compete with Buffalo. Yeah, you're liking what you're seeing out of Dan Campbell, but how do you finish the season? Because if you finish this stretch of games and we're questioning Dan, people aren't going to remember strictly those 3 games you won. They're going to remember more of the bad. So, again, keep up the momentum they have currently, and as long as players are getting better, then, and Dan's staying out of the way, you're going to have more confidence in it next year. And those expectations are going to continue to rise. So next year we'll see how Dan handles it, but I got faith. They'll go above 500 at the end of the season. There's no question.
Really?
It's in front of them, yeah.
4-2 next 6 games?
I think so.
Wow.
I do.
All right.
We'll see.
All right, we'll see. When we get back, let's talk some soccer with Fish. Fish, this is your moment, buddy. I'm excited to have this conversation with you. And then we'll get to Mailbag at 9:50. But before we do, Jeff, our good friends over at Cintron.
Well, guys, Cintron is the official energy drink of the Detroit Red Wings. Cintron has combined 3 of their delicious flavors into a limited edition 6-pack sampler box. Try Cintron's great tasting cranberry classic and sugar-free all in one pack. You can pre-order your Cintron 6-pack sampler box today at cintronworld.com/Red Wings. Get energized with Cintron.
It's back. Year 3 of Woodward Sports Stuffa Studio is here. The past 2 years, we've collected new unwrapped toys and stuffed our studio so we could hardly fit in it. This year, we're doing it even bigger. Join Woodward Sports and our whole family December 19th to the 23rd as we stuff our studio. While you're out shopping or just sitting on your couch ordering presents, make sure you grab 1 extra and drop it off at our studio, 15 Mile in Woodward and Birmingham. We'll be collecting toys around around the clock to make sure every child in Mott's Children's Hospital feels the warmth of the holiday season. It's the time of year to do for others. Help us stuff our studio. Special thanks to all the wonderful elves at Meyer and Guardian Alarm for keeping the toys safe. Stuff a Studio 2022 with Woodward Sports.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Kroger's, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Check out Moneyball Sportswear because it is your one-stop shop. Whether you want the latest look in athletic apparel or you need new uniforms for your team, Moneyball has it all. Stop in Moneyball's showroom in Southfield and experience the only way to ball, or visit moneyballsportswear.com. Moneyball, the only way to ball.
All right, we're back. WoodwardSports.com live. All right, Fish.
Yes, Adam.
Why wait? Cranberry.
Cranberry.
I love you guys in the chat. It's awesome. Cranberry. It's the best commercial. Fish?
LeBron James had a video game. Want to spike cranberry?
Fish?
Yes.
Will the U.S. qualify for the knockout round?
I sure hope so.
Walk me through it.
Well, Iran got murdered 6-2 to England on last Monday, and then they somehow won on Friday. I don't know how. They won 2-0 to Wales. I was hoping Wales would make it, by the way, and that's not going to happen. So, unless they win by like 6 or whatever it is.
Isn't Wales like a small island off the coast of England? Sort of.
Well, they're off. I mean, they're intertwined with England. I don't know if that's the right word, but they're connected to England.
They are.
They're off the coast, but
yeah, that's what I meant.
They're connected to England.
Are they?
Yeah, because it's England, Wales, Scotland. Does that make sense?
No, but yes.
I mean, you don't know any geographics.
I do.
But,
I do.
Okay. Anyways, Iran USA first time playing since January of 2000. So another 22-year wait. We just had a 22-year wait for Michigan Ohio State. Maybe that could connect. Probably not. I'm hoping USA will win. We've got some good players. Right?
Who's going to score the goal today to send them through? Give me a pick.
As he has his app open, ready to place a bet. No,
I told you earlier.
I'm going to share my bets with everybody in this.
I told you earlier. Put Pulisic to assist or score because I just don't trust he's going to score.
So
okay.
Here's what we're going to do.
Well, I'm just telling you, put him to assist. I just don't trust he's going to score.
Well, if they get a penalty, he's the penalty taker. So I trust.
You sure about that?
Yes.
You don't think they're going to put Weah or who's the other guy? Adams?
I think they'll give it to number.
Well, I would hope so because Adams is the captain. Sometimes captains are a bit of nudgy. Ding-dongs, but...
All right, Booner, I see you in the chat. I know you want some picks, so I'll give you guys my picks for the game. Netherlands...
We do have 3 other games, by the way, just so you know. There are other games.
I'm going to give you first all 4 games. I'm going to give you my predictions.
Adam's bets.
Netherlands to win.
Yep, that's easy.
Ecuador, Senegal to draw. United States to win. And England to win. Okay? That's the first one. If you put...
Okay...
If you put $100
Can I stop
on
you
it,
for a few
just
seconds?
chill out.
Okay.
If you put $100 on it, you win $965. If you want to play with a little less and you want to put $25 on it or $20, you win like $250. Okay?
Okay.
Cool. Moving on. Next bet. Christian Pulisic, anytime goal scorer. Over 1.5 goals in the Netherlands game. Over 1.5 goals in the Ecuador-Senegal game.
Okay.
Wow. That's the next one. And then my individual bets.
That Netherlands one should hit.
Yes. And then my individual bets.
Okay.
USA versus Iran.
Yep.
Smash the money line for the United States of America. All right. All in, all faith in the United States to get into the knockout round. I'm going to be rooting for them immensely.
How do you not?
Here's the tricky part.
Oh, boy.
The England-Wales game. Who's going to be the goal scorer? England are basically through.
Well, that's what I mean. They're through. So
And
why do you think they're going to... They don't
I don't
care.
think they're going to play Kane.
Okay.
And if they do, it's maybe for the first half. Maybe the first 50, 60
fair.
minutes, and then they rest him.
Well, he's also
So picking
injured.
a goal scorer here is going to be tricky. But I'm going to go with one player to score a goal who I bet last week to score, and he didn't because he's a coward. And that is Harry Maguire.
Oh, okay.
Because his odds are unreal. It is plus 780 for this fat English defender to score a goal off a set piece against a team in Wales that struggle against set pieces.
They did.
So that is another bet.
But why do you... But you just told us right there, England doesn't need to win. They don't
No,
care.
but they're still going to play. Dude, I just need somebody to score.
I
That's
know.
it.
But your other one, you had England to win.
Yeah, but England aren't going to go out there and say, oh, we're just not going to play. We're just going to let them win because who cares?
Well, but Wales' mentality is, we score 4, we're in, or 5, or whatever it is.
No, they're out under any circumstance.
They have 1 point.
Dick face. Dick face.
Yes.
If Wales win, which they won't.
Okay.
Iran will get in with a result. If the U.S. wins, the U.S. gets in no matter what happens in the Wales game.
I'm looking this up.
Dickhead.
Wales have a chance because it's 4-1.
They have a chance if they win
That's simple
5-0.
maths.
They have a chance if they win 5-0 and Iran and the U.S. draw. That's not happening. They're not beating England 5-0.
Oh, well, I don't think they are either.
Jesus Christ.
But again, what makes you think England are going to win?
What is it?
What makes you think England are going to win?
They're a better team.
Well, I know they're a better team, but they don't care. They want all their players rested.
Fish, I'm going to shove this roll of paper towels so far up your ass.
We can relate it to American sports, college football, Michigan, Purdue. Does Michigan care about this weekend's game?
Yes.
Well, they should.
Because if they win, they do something that's never happened in
You
their
guys
program's
just...
history.
I asked you the same question yesterday. I said, don't overlook Purdue, and you people, all of you people...
Yeah, because Michigan will maul them.
That's what I mean. So they're going to take some...
So England is going to murder Wales. Damn it, Fish.
Okay.
Jesus.
Okay.
All right, moving on.
I need a It's Called Soccer chant from Fish one day.
All right, let's figure this out.
It's called soccer.
I want to give you guys...
It's called soccer.
I'm going to give you guys one more bet. And I need all of you to listen very carefully.
We're listening.
This is the same game parlay.
Okay.
I need you guys to pay attention. This is for the Iran-United States game. Please pay very close attention. I will try my best to repeat it. The United States money line is what we're going to start with. Okay? And then we're going to take over 2.5 goals. And then we're going to take Christian Pulisic to have 2 or more shots on target.
Ooh. Okay.
And then we're going to go anytime goal scorer, Christian Pulisic.
Wow.
$10 pays out $100. Free money. It's a cheap parlay. You don't have to put in too much.
No,
Gives you an incentive to watch the game.
It does.
$10 pays out $100.
I mean, you should be watching the game anyway, regardless of
I know,
betting.
Fish, but USA money line, over 2.5 goals.
Okay.
Christian Pulisic to have 2 or more shots. Christian Pulisic to score.
Another caveat. Again, Iran needs the tie. So USA is going to have to score goals.
Yes, which is why I think they're going to have a ton of shots on goal.
Okay. No.
Iran is going to play for the draw because
Yeah.
they know there's no pressure on them.
Yeah.
They don't have to go out and score.
Yeah.
And the U.S., let's be honest, isn't the best defensive team in this tournament.
They're not.
So Iran will take their counterattack chances.
Yeah.
And if they score, they know they can just sit back and let the U.S. come to them. And the U.S. don't have a natural number 9.
I'm not worried about the shots. I'm worried about the over under 2.5.
The goals will be there.
Okay.
The goals will be there. I think it's going to be a pretty open game in the second half because I believe the U.S. will go into halftime up 1-0.
And hopefully
and I think
you're right.
Iran will get the equalizer and the U.S. will win it late 2-1.
Okay.
That's my game prediction.
I hope you're right. I had 2-0, so you're going to be angry at me, but we can go 3. We can go 3
right.
for your bet to hit.
All right, well, look, let's take a quick pause. Mailbag time. Get all of your questions in the chat. Jeff and I will, of course, go through them and answer them all. We will be right back. But before we go, Jeff, our good friends over at Big Boy.
Well, guys, I know we can head to lunch today. That's Big Boy because you can satisfy those taste buds at Big Boy. New things on the menu like the Bacon Blue Burger, the Big Jim Burger, the Chili Cheese Fries, the Baked Potato Fries. They have it all at Big Boy. Go check it out. You can satisfy those taste buds at Big Boy. Visit BigBoy.com for full details. Tell them your friends at Woodward Sports sent you.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
When it comes to making your haircut truly an experience, there's no better place than Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to any one of our 26 Metro Detroit locations for an award-winning haircut experience and qualify for a chance to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Our precision haircut and talented stylists will have you looking good, feeling good, and give you a chance to change your life forever. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991? Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find all the cleanest salons in the D with spotless, sanitized rooms and trained and certified tanning professionals. You can join the Pepper Club for all the best deals. They'll beat all competitors by $5. ChiliPeppersTanning.com. Hottest bulbs, hottest deals, darkest tans. Your vitamin D headquarters. 27 locations and more on the way.
Chili Peppers Tan?
All right.
We got questions coming in here. DTWA Sports Talk asked Jeff, with 5 of the first 75 picks in the draft, how many of those players should be drafted for defense? I'd probably say at least 4, for being honest with you. I don't think offense is really the problem. Maybe you take a running back, but yeah, at least 4 of those picks should be defensive players. I see this question, chatting with Birdsong. Jeff, J-Mo not looking like he will start against the Jags. What does that say? Really just tells me they're just taking their time with him. I mean, they want him to be 110%. This is a guy who's coming off an ACL injury.
You invested a first-round pick.
You invested a first-round pick.
I don't blame them for protecting their first-round pick.
Yeah.
The only time you get concerned is if he doesn't look right when he gets back.
Or if he misses the whole season. He doesn't play at all.
He misses the whole season, has a setback, has to have surgery again. That's the only time you should be concerned. So.
Yep, I'm with you.
Although it's frustrating, you don't get to see your rookie wide receiver yet. Not the end of the world. If USC loses, does Ohio State get in?
Yeah,
I think so.
Because you're not putting a 2-loss team in there.
Okay, I'm going to make the case for why they shouldn't, but why they will if USC loses. They shouldn't because they, at home, got their asses kicked by Michigan.
Yeah.
They should get in, though, because they lost to one of the best teams in the country at home, who were undefeated. And on top of it, they have 1 loss.
Yeah, they'd be the only one-loss team left.
3. Bama will have 2.
Right.
Yeah.
Clemson will have 2. Oregon will have 3. None of these teams are going to stack up. I think Ohio State gets in if LSU, or excuse me, USC loses. Because I do think TCU win. I have no doubts. USC, they did lose to Utah earlier this year on the road, 1-point loss.
Yep.
Late 2-point conversion won the game for Utah.
Yeah, remember it's a neutral site game this weekend, though.
Having said that, they've got Mr. Heisman on their team. Caleb Williams is the Heisman winner. It is a fact that will happen.
Yep.
He is the Heisman winner this year. I don't see USC losing. I think Utah is a tough foe, but I don't think Utah can stop him. And they didn't stop him the first time. And I don't see them stopping him again. It's whether or not this USC defense can give a little bit. Exactly. Yeah. Which I would trust more to happen than anybody stopping Mr. Heisman himself.
Yeah, you're right about that.
So give me USC, but yes, if USC does lose, I think we have to have an honest conversation. A one-loss Ohio State should get in.
I like this question. Kyle Parker, if the Lions get a top 3 pick, do you draft Bryce Young? He would have chemistry with Jamison Williams. Well, number one, you don't know if he'll be there at 3, because if Houston has number 1, I'm assuming they'll take their quarterback. But to answer your question, yes, I'm a big Bryce Young guy. If you're going to take a quarterback, my pick is Bryce, but we'll see where they land. You have to see where that Rams pick lands, because if it's at 3, you're probably looking at a Jalen Carter, in my opinion, or C.J. Stroud, but I'd lean Jalen Carter in that instance. But yes, if he's there, yeah, I like Bryce Young.
Hey, question for both of you. What if TCU loses? Are you still putting them in?
No.
Okay, so who are you putting in?
Depends what happens. So if TCU and USC lose, or one. If one of them lose, Ohio State replaces them.
Well, of course, if TCU loses and USC lose, you're putting TCU in.
If both of them lose...
You're putting TCU in if both lose.
If both lose, I think TCU should get the nod in.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how I feel about putting a 2-loss Alabama, who went 10-2 in the regular season, against a 12-0 regular season team that lost in their conference championship game.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that.
But if TCU loses, they have to go, right?
If TCU loses, they're out.
Yeah. Okay.
But if TCU loses and USC loses, I want TCU in.
Yeah, they should be.
I don't want to see Bama and Ohio State get in. I don't think that's right.
Bama's got 2 losses. They're not putting a 2-loss Bama.
You never know.
Especially when they didn't win. If they won their conference, different story. They're not putting a non-conference 2-loss team in.
We'll see. We'll see. Guys, now that Luke Fickell is at Wisconsin, his turnaround is going to be compared to Mel Tucker's, right? Remember, Mark wanted Luke before Musalem ripped it on radio. Luke turned it down too. Ay, Poppy. That's a tough one. Luke Fickell's got work, and you know what? I want to talk about Mel Tucker a little bit.
Oh boy. That was your team at the start of the year. What happened?
Nothing. They fucking sucked. That's what happened. Mel Tucker's got a lot of work to do this offseason. A lot of recruiting to do. And he's got a lot of winning to do next year. Because you show up and win 5 games again next year, I'm not sure why I should be inspired with you as the head coach of Michigan State's program. And I'm not saying fire him. I'm not saying he's even on the hot seat right now. What I'm telling you is, you've now had 2 full seasons. Next year, I expect this team to look a lot more in your vision, given how many recruiting classes you've had now. Next year is the year where I'm thinking 7, 8, on a good season, 9 wins for Michigan State. But they're going to lose to Ohio State again. They're going to lose to Michigan. I don't think they're there. And they were there for one season because of arguably the greatest running back we've seen come out in the last 15, 20 years. Does that mean Mel Tucker's a bad coach? No, it doesn't. But what it means is you have to start delivering now. All right, you dealt with the 5-win season this year. You dealt with leaving 3 defensive backs out there against 4 wide receivers against Penn State. Like, I'm scratching my head a little bit with Mel. I like him. Love the message. But I don't need you chopping on the sideline all the time. Call a fucking timeout, dude. There's 3 defensive backs on the field. And Penn State have 4 wide receivers. What are we doing here? Moving on. Adam, is that a hookah you smoke on when the Lions lose? What do you mean? What do you mean, Kyle? I only smoke when they win.
Well, yeah, when good things happen.
I don't celebrate losses. You think the top conference in football is the Big Ten in 3 to 4 years with all the new coaches and teams coming?
Yes.
Nope.
What do you mean no?
Nope. Even with the USC, and you know how I feel about USC. No.
But is the SEC getting better with Texas and Oklahoma?
Yeah. Those are big-time brands.
Whoa, they're big-time brands. But
Yeah.
they played in the Big 12.
Who's UCLA? Nobody cares about them. USC, absolutely, because of Lincoln Riley.
I mean, USC or UCLA is known.
Yeah, that's
They're known
great.
to the big school.
My mother's a known woman. What does that mean?
Oh, you realize just by joining the Big Ten...
How can the Big Ten be better than the SEC? When the SEC has Bama, Georgia,
Yeah.
now Tennessee,
Yeah.
LSU,
Yeah.
with Brian Kelly,
Yeah. Family.
Ole Miss with... Oh, God, I forget his name.
Is Ole
How am I
Miss...
forgetting his name?
Ole
Miss.
Is it Lane Kiffin?
Lane Kiffin. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Lane Kiffin.
Is Ole Miss even up there, though?
No, they're not up there, but they're still better than most of the Big Ten teams.
Okay.
And if you look at the SEC right now, and you put everybody 1 through 10, 1 through 12, you put them head-to-head, 1 versus 1, 2 versus 2, the Big Ten would be lucky to win 2 games. And you would rely on Ohio State and Michigan to win those games.
Based on this year's schedule, I agree. But this year hasn't happened in like 20, 30 years where the West sucks. Normally the West are the few teams that are good. Purdue's normally up there. Illinois, Indiana, very rarely sometimes.
Yeah, but Texas
Wisconsin
and Oklahoma
sometimes.
Are huge brands.
They're
buddy.
huge, but they play in the Big 12 where there's no defense. They play in the James Harden no defense
And now they're
league.
going to SEC land, and they're going to say, hey, every Saturday, kid, you're going to be able to go up against other NFL talent, and we're going to be able to give you the platform to go up against some of the best players in the country, and NFL teams will recognize that. Because what do NFL teams love doing? Drafting players from the SEC.
Yeah, and
that's the pitch.
Yeah, but they need to make sure their defense. They're going to have a tough first year, both teams, because they don't play defense.
They will. I agree 100%, but that doesn't make them any less relevant over the next 5-10 years.
Pac-12 to the Big Ten is a little more.
The
they
Big
can
Ten,
just
I don't
kind
want
of
to talk
go
about
into
the
the
Big
system.
Ten. They suck right now, buddy. What do you think of
they
the
do.
Lions going 6-0 through the final stretch?
Oh, here we go.
What do you think about me doing a whole freaking kilo of cocaine on the show?
That would
it's not going to happen.
That would be 9-1 over
bear.
It would be 9-1 over the last 10 if they go 6-0. So
I would be shocked.
Impressive, to say the least.
All right, we're out of here. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Appreciate you for hopping on.
Yes.
Go USA.
Cocaine bear.
Go kick Iran's ass and let's avoid World War III. Remember, put all your money on the U.S. winning because they're going to beat the fuck out of Iran because Iran don't know what the hell they're doing in life or in soccer. So we're out of here. Good luck, United States. Good luck, Fish. Good luck, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. We're out.
Go USA. How do you not? Watch all the games as well. How do you not?